Hello everyone, my name is Brandon and today I'm going to explain you about the second language acquisition. So, what is second language acquisition? Okay, it's the study of how native speaker of one language acquire another language. For example, in my case, my native language is Spanish and I acquire English as a second language. So basically, the second language is the study of how we acquire the other language. So we use another language because sometimes it's very convenient to use another language because if you want to travel around the world, you have to use another language. Well, when we are trying to acquire another language, it is very common to have some problem when we are trying to acquire this new language. So this is the case of the language transfer. Language transfer is the application of linguistic characteristics from one language to another by bilingual or multilingual speaker. So it's basically some problems that we have when we are trying to understand a word or the meaning because in some case a word can sound or be like the same in our language and the second language, but the meaning is totally different. So this is the case of a thing that are created immigrant that is Spanglish. They acquire inconscious some words of English, but their own language is Spanish. So they can speak very well English, but they try to use some word of the English and they create Spanglish. So this is the language transfer. In some case, this is basically the problem of phonology. They tend to interpret some kind of word and sound as in their native speaker, but that are not the same. But is this is the most common problem when we are trying to acquire language because we frequently try to compare one word with another, but they're not the same. So is very frequently this problem we try to avoid when we are trying to learn a new language. Well, in the second language acquisition, we have the also the same patterns as in our native language. For example, phonology, morphology, syntax, and semantics. So I will try to explain a little bit about these topics individually. For example, phonology is the branch of linguistics that studies the sound and the system of the language in general. Also, that include syllable, intonation, and stress, and things like that. So, in morphology, also is a branch of linguistics that study the internal structure of the word and that define and classify their units. So this part is basically the study of how the words are conformed. So we can formulate another word by joining two words. So the syntax is the part of grammar that study the words and the group of them that are combined and trying to express meaning, as well the relationship that are established between all of these units. So, and semantics is about the meaning and the interpretation of the linguistic sign as symbol, word expression, and formal representation. So, as we know, there are another kind of things that influence in the second language acquisition that are non linguistic, like age. Well, everybody here know that when we are getting older, it's harder to learn another language. So, and also it's easier for children to learn another language because they are in the critical period that they can learn everything quickly without getting so much force, but this is a little bit true and false because if we have a motivation to learn another language, we can do it without being a children. So there are also some personal traits that can help us to learn another language because a person who is extroversion is a person who can express more their feelings more naturally and can be able to express new vocabulary. So that kind of people can learn quickly. But also the motivation is very important in the second language acquisition because the inclusive motivation reflects the desire of the language the learner become part of a community culture represented by the L2. So instrumental motivation reflects student desire to learn the language for practical purpose such as getting a job. Integrative motivation is considered the most important component in the language of a second language acquisition. Well, why motivation? Because the motivation is a very important part of a learning in every subject. So in learning a new language is very important this part. For example, if we want to get a job and we need to know English, we are going to be more motivated to learn the language. So we are going to be focused in the learning process. For that reason, it's easier to learn a language when we are motivated. So for that reason, in the second language acquisition, the motivation is very important. So, and that's all, folks. So thanks for watching. Take care.